What's up guys, Mixed by Jocelyn here, back with another episode of Mixed Up. Today is part 7 of our mixing from start to finish series. Today we're going to be adding some flavour to the vocals. Let's get cracking. Boom! Okay guys, so if you remember from part 6, and if you haven't watched the other parts yet, please go back and watch from part 1 all the way, because we're mixing from start to finish and you won't have a clue where you are otherwise. But last part we basically tidied up the vocals, tidied up the recording, getting it in the best place possible to mix the vocals into the record and get some flavor going. So this being a Amapiano type track and Notes being one of the main artists on there, which is the section that we're looking at in terms of mixing it, he uses autotune on his vocals. So that's where we're gonna start off first. One thing that I know a lot of people struggle with is getting the right key. So a plugin that I use and I really do rate, if I am struggling to find the key, if it's not apparent or it hasn't been given to me by the producer, I use this plugin called Mixed In Key. It's very good. You basically put it on, I normally put it on my music bus. It pretty much picks up the key 99% accuracy. So we'll just play that and we'll find the key. Let it play a little bit, get the right vibe. So as you can see here, it's floating back to A minor. It did think it might be G major, but that's obviously because the notes are quite similar, but it's saying at this point 76% sure that it's A minor. So what I'll then do there is come back to the vocals. We'll go to the vocal that we're mixing, and for this one I'm going to use Waves Tune Real Time. It's personal preference. Loads of people use loads of different auto tunes. Most of them sound pretty similar, but you can use whatever auto tune you want to use. For this tutorial we're going to use the Waves one, and we're going to put in a minor, and then what I like to do is just ramp up the auto tune all the way, and I listen just to make sure that it's in the right key. I don't need to explain. If it's not in the right key, I think you're going to know.
Keep going non-stop, might take a lunch break but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you then it's all up. Wanna take a whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go post on my ex in a fandom. Move on to the next dress and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I want.
Okay, cool, sounds right. He's not really doing a lot of tonal stuff in the rap section, but I'm gonna pull that back a little bit using the note transition and the speed just to get that sort of right feel of auto-tune that we want.
Keep going non-stop, might take a lunch break but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs.
And then I'm just gonna check in this.
Wanna take a whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go post on my ex in a fandom. Move on to the next dress and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I.
And if you're not 100% sure of it, you can just try the other suggestions that Mixed In Key is offering you. Alternatively, it's not as intuitive, but if you're using Logic and you don't have Mixed In Key, there is a free tuner in there. And basically the way that I sort of look at it is I listen to the first bar, and whatever note comes up as the first bar, not always, but again, 9 out of 10 times, that's normally the key of the song.
Keep going non-stop,
so you can see,
might take a lunch break.
Straight away comes up there. Similar process, but it can be kind of harder and it's not as correct as Mixed In Key, I find. So Mixed In Key is a very good plugin. Once we've got the auto tune locked in,
keep going non-stop, might take a lunch break but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve.
And we're happy with what we've got. This is where I like to add my first layer of analog compression, something that's gonna add a bit of color to it and really glue the record together. So as I said in the last video, we were sort of tidying it all up. It was just cutting, de-essing, bit of multi-band just to smoothen out the recording and get it as flat in my ears as possible. Now we've added the auto tune that's going on straight away. Then we're gonna add a compressor. And for this, we're gonna use the 1176. Again, you can use your own versions of this. I like to use this compressor. This is one of the main compressors I use when it comes to mixing vocals, especially rap vocals. I'm gonna go with a ratio of 8. And basically what I want is a slow attack and quite a fast release. Now, this is standard for rap stuff. It's letting the transients cut through whilst rounding it off and keeping it very punchy. It's gonna feel very directful, like how you want a rap vocal to feel very upfront, but it's also gonna smooth it out a little bit and just like shave off the edges and give a bit of warmth to it as well, with it being like an analog emulation. And I'm gonna be looking for around 6 to 7 dB of compression.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go ghost on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I've won. Start all again like I've just begun. Can't celebrate with no random.
So we're getting a good bit of compression there. It's bouncing in and out, and it's not really going past 7, which is sort of like where I want it to be right at this point.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go ghost on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I've won. Start all again like I've just begun. Can't celebrate with no random. Round me, it's only the man, them, only the family, only the penguin.
So as you can hear, we're adding a bit of warmth. There is even a little bit of saturation being added there from the compressor, and it's coming together quite nicely, and we're getting a nice rounded glue feeling, and I believe the compression sounds quite nice at this point. From here, I sort of want to add a little bit of extra color to it. What I tend to use is a saturator. My go-to saturator at the moment is the Black Box. I know some people don't like using this on vocals, but I find if you're quite sparing with it, you get a nice feeling. So we'll put up the Black Box here, we'll turn it on.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love.
And we're gonna add the air in.
Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go
and then I'm gonna lower the mix.
Move on to the next breast.
About 60%.
No need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I've won. Start
and then again, I'm just gonna raise it up, Harry.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go ghost on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I've won. Start all again like
Okay, nice. So whilst raising it up, I was just basically listening to how it sounds, because it's quite difficult where I have to have it so low. If you guys have any suggestions of a better way of balancing so you guys can't hear the speakers, obviously I could use headphones, but I don't really feel like that's the vibe. But if anyone knows any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. That would be very appreciated. And whilst we're on that topic, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe. And if you are liking this video, drop it a like. It really does help, and I really do appreciate it. So as you can see, if we're A/B this, you're getting a lot of warmth, a lot of aggression, and a little bit of air added to the vocal.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm.
And what I find with a combination of the two, we're really now starting to lean into that professional sounding vocal at this point. Starting to give it that color, that aggression, that nice analog-y sound that we've become so used to hearing in modern day music. But that being said, what we end up doing is we end up pulling some of the sibilants out of the vocals, also some harmonics that we might not necessarily like. And I normally find it happening in the top end. So what I tend to do is I pull up my good friend Soothe 2. I basically create a band here on the very low end and all the way on the high end. And I take this band and I narrow it like this, widen it a little bit, pull these up. So basically I'm just creating two pockets, and I want to basically leave the mid-range of the vocal alone. So I'm just working out these bands. So that starts at about 2K, and then I'm gonna have quite a fast attack and a slower release. Play this.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go ghost on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast and
raise it up a little bit.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go post on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast and bum. Natural, no need to get that done. Gotta do everything until I won. Start all again like I've just begun. Can't celebrate with no random. Round me.
Okay, nice. Now what that's doing is basically in the low range of the vocals and the very highs of the vocals, it's automatically removing those harmonics that are peaking out. Soothe 2 is brilliant at that. It's a bit of black magic, I would say, but it really does help smooth out the vocals and just remove any of those frequencies that you don't want. But you do have to be careful with it. You can't overuse it and then end up sucking the life out of a vocal in that way.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole while.
So from there, I normally add one last layer of compression. And this is just to catch any last little bits. I kind of think of it as like sandpaper, just smoothing off the last edges. And I have quite a slow attack and a slow release again. This is just very, very slow and it just rounds off all those edges, but we're not using too much. I'm really looking for like a maximum of 3 dB compression here.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job.
Right there,
Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as
I'm gonna leave auto gain on so it brings it back to the volume that we had set because it was in a good place in my opinion.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past hate.
Okay, nice. It's sounding very good. It's sounding very controlled. It's in key, still sounding quite dry. So this is where I will add my first reverb. Now I have a couple buses here set up already, but we're gonna create a new one. Bus 8, and we're gonna add my favorite reverb, one of my favorite reverbs anyway, the Vintage Verb from Valhalla. This is a brilliant, brilliant reverb. If you haven't got it, I would suggest it. And I'm then going to create a EQ above the reverb. Now, this is the difference between good mixes and great mixes. EQing your reverbs and your delays and things like that is so important, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people overlook. What I like to do is I basically ram this reverb all the way up and then I can hear it, and then I sculpt the reverb with it being all the way up high.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break,
I
but
can
I'm
take
on
out all the
job.
lows that I
Legends
know I
don't
don't
go
want.
nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love.
And then all those highs that are just too sharp.
Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go post on my ex in a phantom. Move on to the next breast.
And then I'm left with this nice mid pocket, which sounds very rich and sounds very full. And then I can pull down the decay because we don't want that much decay. The decay is the length of the reverb. I'm a fan of around 2 seconds, maybe just under.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you, then it's all love. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. As long as I phone you.
And I like to do this with the mix playing. All of the stuff that we've looked at today, I like to do it with the mix playing because I'm mixing into the instrumental now. We've done all of our sculpting, we've done all of our tidying, which needs to be done soloed so we can really hear the vocal. Now it's what it's gonna sound like in the mix. So I keep the mix playing throughout.
Keep going, non-stop. Might take a lunch break, but I'm on job. Legends don't go nowhere, Steve Jobs. Wanna take the whole wide world by storm. Go past haters in a lamb truck. Go post on.
Okay, nice. It sounds brilliant. Even to the point where if it's playing, you're not even really noticing there's a reverb on the vocal. Unless you're doing it as an effect, I don't really want to hear that reverb, you know? It's not something that I want to notice in the mix. I want it just to be adding space and depth in the mix and keeping the vocal smooth and open. From there, I'm gonna add a little delay, which is gonna create a little bit of a bounce. And we're gonna use the Waves H delay. And I'm gonna set it to 1/8 to start with. And again, I'm gonna put just a high pass and a low pass on it, similar to what we've done here. It doesn't need to be as on point because it's a delay. It's not acting too much like a reverb. It's not gonna take up so much space within the mix. And I'm gonna pull the feedback down. I normally start it around at 9 o'clock on like a clock face. And I like this lo-fi button, and I turn off the analog because I really don't like that sound. It adds like a lot of noise. And then we'll just turn it all the way up. And then pulling it down. And really, I just want to hear little glimmers of it in the pauses. And I actually think we need to take a little bit more of the low end out. Okay, amazing. So that is basically how I would then finish up Notes' vocal. There is a little bit more to do in terms of like the bus usage, things like that, but we'll cover that in the next lesson. We will then look at what I would do to finish it up. We're not going to obviously mix all of the vocals because we'd be here maybe like part 20. I mean, let me know in the comments if you do want to do that, but it's basically more of the same thing. And yeah, I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. As of like next week, I think I'm going to start releasing other types of videos because we've been obviously releasing these videos for a long time now. I'm not gonna lie, I want to move away from it. I want to start working on like other plugin videos and other tutorials and other types of things. So let me know if you guys are excited for that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Safe. Boom.